Picture this, the 1960s. Italy is all about sleek, sophisticated designs, while America is cranking out raw, untamed horsepower. These two worlds, they seemed like polar opposites, but one ambitious Italian company, led by Renzo Revolta, dared to bring them together. The plan? To create a grand touring car that wasn't just another Ferrari knockoff. It was a bold hybrid, European craftsmanship fused with American muscle. A car meant to dethrone Ferrari, offer a more reliable ride, and still come in at a lower price. Sounds intriguing, right? Stick around to uncover the fascinating story behind the Iso Revolta, a car that had all the makings of a Ferrari killer. If you love uncovering the BTS of the automotive world, hit that like button and subscribe to Motorythmm. Bubble Car Legacy. It's hard to imagine, but Iso's roots lie in the business far removed from the roar of engines, refrigerators. Founded in 1939 as Isothermos, the company was acquired in 1942 by auto enthusiast Renzo Revolta. Renaming it Iso Autovecoli, Revolta shifted gears in 1948, moving the operation to Bresso near Milan, with a vision of leaving refrigeration behind to build motorcycles for post-war Italy, and it was the right move. By 1950, Iso had climbed to become Italy's third largest motorcycle manufacturer, standing proudly alongside Vespa and Lambretta. What also set Iso apart was its exceptional engineering and top-notch build quality. Sure, their motorcycles were pricier than the competition, but they struck a chord with consumers in post-war Italy, where cheap, efficient transportation was a must. While motorcycles were practical, they had their limitations, and Revolta saw an opportunity in the emerging microcar market. In 1953, Iso unveiled the Isetta, a tiny bubble-shaped car powered by a motorcycle engine with just enough room for two adults and a little luggage. Its charming design and clever package made it a hit, so much so that Revolta began licensing its production to manufacturers worldwide. The most famous of these partnerships was the BMW, which transformed the Isetta into a bestseller, helping the German automaker find its footing in the post-war era. But as the 1960s rolled in, tastes were changing. With rising disposable incomes, consumers were looking for more luxurious options. Motorcycle sales began to dip and the quirky microcar lost its appeal. Fortunately, Iso's licensing success with the Isetta had filled Revolta's coffers, giving him the means to think bigger, much bigger. Revolta, a fan of luxury grand tourers like Jaguars and Maseratis, wanted to create a GT that combined Italian elegance with accessible engineering. By late 1961, after visiting the Frankfurt Motor Show, Revolta was convinced it was time to take the leap. Key figures like Nuccio Bertoni and Giotto Bizzarini joined the effort, with Bertoni leading the design and Bizzarini engineering the chassis. With their help, Iso was about to transition from practical transportation to luxurious performance. Birth of Iso Revolta. By the early 1960s, Renzo Revolta's ambitions had crystallized into a daring vision. A luxurious grand tourer that would compete with Ferrari and Maserati without the exotic price tag or maintenance headaches. Iso didn't have the resources to design a complex Italian V12 from scratch, but Revolta saw an opportunity where others saw limitation. Turning to America, he sourced Chevrolet's legendary 327 cubic inch 5.3-liter V8 engine, famed for its reliability and raw power. This was no compromise. It was a strategic move to deliver thrilling performance while keeping costs manageable. By February 1962, Iso had built a pressed sheet steel rolling chassis for its new GT. The Corvette-sourced V8 came in two flavors, producing either 300 or 340 horsepower, and was paired with a choice of transmissions. Early models offered a 4-speed Borg-Warner manual or a 2-speed automatic. Later upgraded to 3-speed automatics and an optional 5-speed ZF manual, the latter fitted to only 23 cars. Beneath its elegant exterior, the Iso Revolta featured advanced engineering that promised an exceptional driving experience. Unveiled in June 1962, the Iso Revolta made an immediate impression. This sleek two-door coupe blended understated Italian elegance with innovative mechanics. Its chassis, designed by the brilliant Giotto Bizzarini, paired independent double wishbone front suspension with a D-Dion rear axle. Coil springs and telescopic dampers at each corner ensured a balanced, comfortable ride, while Dunlop disc brakes with servo assistance delivered stopping power that was cutting edge for the era. Inside, the Iso Revolta was as luxurious as it was functional. The cabin offered seating for four, adorned with fine materials and designed to match the car's poised exterior. Period advertisements proudly described it as efficient, functioning, united to sober elegance. Revolta wanted to produce 2,000 units annually, but reality proved less forgiving. With a starting price of £4,360 for the IR300 in 1965, significantly higher than rivals like the Jaguar E-Type at £1,992, sales were limited to an exclusive clientele. Even so, the ISO undercut more expensive Italians like the Ferrari 330 GT, priced at £6,217, while offering comparable luxury and performance. The ISO Rivolta didn't just look the part, it delivered where it mattered. Its Corvette heart gave it power and dependability, while its meticulous Italian engineering ensured a smooth and thrilling ride. Rivolta's grand ambition was alive in every bolt and stitch, bringing an entirely new contender to the Grand Tourer scene. The ISO Rivolta was met with near universal praise from the press. When reviewed, one of the first right-hand drive models in 1965, their verdict was glowing. The designer has clearly hit the mark, creating an exceptionally fast and safe touring coupe that's an absolute joy to drive, yet practical enough for everyday tasks like commuting or even a quick trip to the shops. Step inside the ISO Rivolta IR300 and it's clear this car wasn't just built for speed. Lavish leather upholstery, sculpted seats, and polished wood trim screamed luxury. It was a GT car designed for long, comfortable drives without sacrificing performance. All of this came at a price tag of $6,500 in the US, half the cost of a Ferrari 250 GTE. It was a value proposition that was hard to ignore. For all its brilliance, the ISO Rivolta IR faced significant hurdles in the marketplace. Despite its cutting-edge engineering and competitive pricing, the car struggled to gain traction. ISO simply didn't carry the same prestige as Ferrari or Maserati, and its history as a microcar manufacturer didn't inspire confidence among buyers seeking high-end luxury. Compounding the issue was a limited dealership network, particularly in the US, where the IR300's American V8 heart should have made it a natural fit. Instead, buyers looking for a raw muscle often chose the Chevrolet Corvette, which offered similar performance at a fraction of the price. Meanwhile, those craving exotic allure gravitated toward Ferrari or Maserati, leaving ISO stuck in an awkward middle ground. To combat these challenges, ISO expanded its lineup, launching the stunning ISO Grifo A3L in 1965. This car upped the ante with engines ranging from 5.4 to 7 liters, delivering a massive 400 horsepower and top speeds at 270 kilometers per hour. Variants like the Grifo L300, the S4 in 1967, and the Super Grifo in 1968 showcased ISO's commitment to high-performance luxury. Other models followed, including the elegant Fedea Saloon in 1968 and the GT 2+2 ISO Rivolta Lille in 1969, designed by Marcello Gondini of Bertone and named after Rivolta's wife. However, the cracks were starting to show. By the end of 1971, ISO's contract with General Motors expired, forcing the company to switch to Ford's Cleveland V8 engines. This change marked a new chapter, but came at a challenging time. The 1970s oil crisis dealt a severe blow to ISO, as its lineup of high-performance cars clashed with a market shifting toward fuel efficiency. The passing of Renzo Rivolta in 1966 left the company in the hands of his son Piero, who did his best to steer ISO through these turbulent times. But financial difficulties mounted, and in the early 1970s, the company was sold to businessman Ivo Pera. Rebranded as ISO Motors & Company, the once promising marquee couldn't recover, marking the end of an ambitious dream. In an ill-fated move, ISO decided to venture into Formula One in 1973, partnering with Frank Williams. The ISO Rivolta Marlboro team entered the racing scene with a single-seater powered by a Cosworth engine. While ambitious, the venture turned out to be a strategic misstep. Combined with the ongoing oil crisis and dwindling finances, this gamble pushed ISO to its breaking point. By the end of 1974, the company ceased building cars entirely. Years later, in 1990, Piero Rivolta attempted to breathe new life into the brand with a concept called the Grifo 90. Despite the buzz, the project never saw the light of day, leaving ISO's legacy firmly rooted in the past. Though production of the ISO Rivolta IR300 ended in 1970 after just 799 units, its legend has only grown. Today, this rare fusion of Italian elegance and American muscle is a prized collector's item, with well-preserved examples commanding between $150,000 and $250,000. Once overshadowed by rivals like Ferrari and Maserati, the ISO Rivolta has finally claimed its rightful place in automotive history. Here's a thought: if you could step back into the 1960s and pick your dream car, would it be the ISO Rivolta, the raw and iconic Corvette, or the prestigious Ferrari 250 GTE? Which one earns a spot in your garage? Drop your choice in the comments. We'd love to hear your take. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of cars. Catch you next time.